Hello Cowboys Nation, welcome to another video, and without further ado, let's get to another round of news from America's team. Cowboys send counteroffer back to star player in surprising move. The Dallas Cowboys will be entering the 2024 season with the same expectations they've had ever since Mike McCarthy took over as head coach, to win the Super Bowl. Those expectations have remained steady throughout the regular season. However, come the playoffs, Dallas has been bounced in the first or second round each year. If McCarthy wants to keep his job, a deep postseason run feels mandatory. One star player who is a vital piece of the team just received a counter-offer from Dallas that has many fans in a state of shock. The Dallas Cowboys send counteroffer back to star player. According to Bleacher Report's Maurice Moton, the Cowboys are set on negotiating with CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb will likely be the league's highest-paid wide receiver for at least a short period. Cincinnati Bengals star wideout Ja'Marr Chase also wants a new deal. While Chase has held in amid a contract dispute, Lamb won't report to training camp until he gets an extension, but the All-Pro receiver may be one step closer to a contractual agreement with the Dallas Cowboys. In an appearance on San Antonio Sports Star, Cowboys Executive Vice President Stephen Jones said the team has a counteroffer from Lamb's camp. He described negotiations with Lamb's reps as very upbeat and cordial. This offseason, the Minnesota Vikings made Justin Jefferson the highest-paid wide receiver with a 4-year, $140 million extension. Lamb could top the wideout pay scale on a deal worth $36+ million annually. Assuming Dallas wants to help quarterback Dak Prescott play at an optimal level in his contract year, it will hand out a mega deal to Lamb before Week 1. With a worn-down version of Ezekiel Elliott likely to lead the Cowboys' backfield, Lamb looks like a strong candidate to win 2024 Offensive Player of the Year in a pass-reliant offense. Last season, he hauled in a league-leading 135 receptions for 1,749 yards and 12 touchdowns. Lamb is an essential part of the Cowboys' offense. The fact that he is one of the best wide receivers in the NFL speaks for itself. However, Brandon Cooks, 657 yards in 2023, and Jalen Tolbert, 268 yards in 2023, don't provide much depth beyond Lamb. The Cowboys' passing attack would take a massive hit if Lamb wasn't retained. Getting this deal done is essential for their Super Bowl hopes. Former Cowboys player calls out Jerry Jones for cheapness. Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys are currently gearing up for what figures to be a highly important 2024-25 NFL season as for the future direction of the franchise. Jones is the owner of the team and has long been the face of all things Cowboys, but unfortunately, that hasn't had such a positive connotation in recent years due to the team's shortcomings in the postseason. Jones has garnered a reputation for himself as being one of the most involved and passionate owners in the game, but that hasn't stopped some of the Cowboys' former players from criticizing him over the years, including former offensive lineman Ross Tucker, who recently took to X, formerly Twitter, to point to a noteworthy example of Jones' alleged cheapness in how he ran the franchise. "None of my teams paid for massages. Heck, the Cowboys' payroll deducted for lunch," wrote Ross, responding to a clip from the Ross Tucker podcast in which former New York Giants Darren Waller praised the way that team gave players access to things required to their job for free. Jerry Jones is estimated to be at over $14 billion, per Forbes, which makes him one of the 140 richest men in the world, making it highly questionable to say the least that he wouldn't allow players to eat for free at the team's facility. Can the Cowboys put it together this year? The Cowboys have been knocking on the door of real postseason success for quite some time now, but have still found ways to fall flat on their faces in the biggest moments over the last couple seasons. In 2023, Dak Prescott and the offense struggled mightily in a relatively close but ultimately highly disappointing road loss versus the San Francisco 49ers in the NFC divisional round. Then, this past season, Prescott struggled again, but not nearly as bad as the Cowboys' defense, which made Green Bay Packers quarterback Jordan Love look like a bona fide superstar en route to demolishing the team and giving them their first home loss of the season at the worst possible time. All told, there's no doubting that the Cowboys are one of the league's better teams and have the potential to do something great, but talking about it and doing it are two different things. In any case, Jerry Jones might instill a bit better morale around the organization by using a small percentage of his incomprehensible wealth to grab his players some sandwiches. Cowboys trade pitch lands them Saints cheap former 17 TD RB. The Dallas Cowboys could be an ideal landing spot for a young running back. As Blogging the Boys' Dan Rogers suggests in his 5 running backs that the Cowboys should consider trading for, he mentions the New Orleans Saints' Kendre Miller as one of those players. The 22-year-old was a third-round draft pick of the Saints last season. However, he finds himself likely buried on the depth chart with Alvin Kamara back in the fold and Jamal Williams still on the roster. To top it all off, Rogers mentions how the Cowboys showed interest in the former TCU running back during a pre-draft visit last year. The Cowboys have already shown interest in him as he had a pre-draft visit last year, writes Rogers. Health will be a factor, but a young player with lots of tread left on the tire and 3 more years of a cheap rookie deal could pique the Cowboys' interest. Kendre Miller buried on Saints' depth chart. Miller saw sporadic playing time during his rookie season while backing up Kamara and Williams, posting just 156 rushing yards and 1 touchdown while appearing in just 20% of the offensive snaps in the 8 games he appeared in. However, the Cowboys would represent a more open competition for Miller. He would have a legit shot at winning the starting job with no clear-cut starting running back established in the backfield. Miller would be competing with older veterans such as Ezekiel Elliott and Royce Freeman along with players who have never been starting running backs in the NFL in Deuce Vaughn, Malik Davis and Rico Dowdle.